A cleaner from the lower class in the UK took a fancy to the high-end custom-made dress in the employer's house. The gorgeous fabric emits a soft and charming luster. It's like the twinkling stars in the night sky. But when the employer mentioned the price of this dress, which was as high as £500, there was full of disbelief in Lyra's eyes. For a cleaner who has a meager monthly income and makes a living by mopping floors and doing odd jobs every day, £500 is undoubtedly an astronomical figure that seems out of reach. But Lyra didn't choose to give up. He planted a seed of dream in his heart and told himself that he must own this dress. From then on, Lyra started his journey of saving money. While others take the bus to work, he chooses to walk even in the face of wind and rain. While others enjoy the warm light at home, he has already removed the electrical box early just to save those pitiful few coins, running around everywhere taking on one cleaning job after another. In his spare time, he also helps people mend clothes, bit by bit accumulating that seemingly distant dream fund. Fate always seems to favor those who work hard unexpectedly. One night Lyra was just like usual with a bit of expectation and uneasiness. He filled in several numbers on the lottery ticket. Unexpectedly, the next day the god of luck smiled upon him. He won a prize of £150. This made him almost jump up with excitement. His best friend Fiona was overjoyed when she heard the news. However, life is always full of twists and turns. Lyra's employer, due to the economic depression, not only reduced his working hours but also defaulted on his salary. This made him feel extremely disappointed and helpless. He didn't know how many more difficulties he had to go through before he could achieve his dream. His best friend saw Lyra becoming more and more depressed and felt very distressed. In order to help him relax, his best friend dragged him to the Greyhound racing track. At this place Lyra saw the Greyhound numbered 6. Its name was high fashion. This name was like a bolt of lightning, instantly striking his heart. Lyra thought this must be a hint from heaven. It was fate beckoning to him, so without hesitation, he took out £100 and bet it on the Greyhound numbered 6. The ticket seller Jasper repeatedly hinted to Lyra that this dog couldn't possibly win, but he couldn't go against the boss being present, so he had to accept Lyra's banknote. The race started. The Greyhound numbered 6 ran very fast. At the beginning, Lyra cheered excitedly as if he had seen the moment when his dream came true. However, just when it was almost at the finish line, the Greyhound numbered 6 suddenly stopped. All the hopes were shattered in an instant. Lyra looked at the racing track in a state of dismay. The huge sum of £100 was gone just like that. He felt extremely desperate and dejected. Jasper had long anticipated such an outcome. He stepped forward to comfort Lyra. There's nothing wrong with having a dream. However, sometimes one also needs to face the reality objectively. Just when Lyra thought he had no chance to get the dress, good luck came one after another. One day, on his way home, suddenly he noticed a glimmer of light refracted in the puddle. He picked it up and took a look. It turned out to be an expensive diamond ring. For him, this diamond ring was undoubtedly a huge fortune. If he sold it, he would have enough money to buy a dress. However, Lyra didn't hesitate for a moment. He took the ring to the police station and handed it in. He knew that this ring didn't belong to him. He couldn't lose his principles just because of momentary greed. His kindness and integrity were finally rewarded. A few days later, someone specially sent by the army came to make up for the pension that his husband had sacrificed his life for the country many years ago. The police station also sent someone to tell him that the owner of the diamond ring had been found, and generously left a sum of money as a reward for his honesty. Jasper, a friend from the dog racing track, also came to him saying that he was sorry he couldn't keep his £100, but he secretly saved £10 and won back more than £100 of the principal for him. These unexpected windfalls finally enabled him to save enough £500 to buy the dress. He felt that his efforts and perseverance had finally paid off. He decided to rush from London to Paris immediately to fulfill his dream. Lyra boarded the plane to Paris. This was his first time taking a plane. He was filled with both nervousness and anticipation, looking out the window at the bustling Paris, imagining what he would look like in a Dior dress. He showed a happy smile after arriving in Paris to save money. Harris made do on a bench at the station for one night. Early the next morning, with the guidance of kind passers-by, he successfully arrived at the headquarters of Dior. Just as he was about to go in, a model suddenly fell down in front of the store. Harris hurried forward and helped him up. Aurora rushed into the store in a hurry, but she forgot her backpack. Harris chased all the way up the stairs. Finally, he returned the backpack to its owner. He didn't know that this small act of kindness would play a crucial role in his trip to Paris. Then Lyra walked into the reception room. The exquisitely dressed female manager, when she saw his shabby clothes, a trace of disdain flashed in her eyes. She secretly pressed the alarm bell, deceived him into waiting aside. Then she began to busy herself entertaining the nobles who came. earnestly distributing the admission tickets. Seeing this, Lyra was extremely anxious. Obviously, he was the first to arrive. Why could these people enter first? But the female manager turned a deaf ear. She only focused on flattering Regina's daughter. The female manager seemed to have been greatly offended. She thought that Lyra had lowered the store's class, so she ordered the female supervisor to take him to the department store clothes that were suitable for his status. Seeing this, the finance officer was ready to drag him out. But Lyra firmly refused to leave. He worked hard sewing clothes every day, scrubbing the floors and saving every penny. He came all the way here without hesitation just to buy this dress. The male finance officer saw the money in Lyra's hand. He wanted to help him keep it and allowed him to enter the store. However, the female manager intervened. She said that today was the 10th anniversary fashion show. They couldn't let a cleaner in. Otherwise, it would ruin Dior's reputation. The Marquis beside couldn't stand it any longer. He invited Lyra in a gentlemanly way to be his guest to attend this fashion show together. He carefully helped Lyra put away the money. Then, he took the admission ticket from the female supervisor and asked Lyra to take his arm and enter the venue. The female manager could only force a stiff smile to cover up her inner embarrassment. Now the backstage was in an uproar. Everyone was whispering there was a cleaner who came to buy a dress with all his savings and was personally entertained by the Marquis. The girls were all hiding behind the curtain, secretly picking at this courageous granny. The Marquis told Lyra if she took a fancy to any dress, she just needed to write the dress number in the notebook at hand and she could buy it after the event. At this time, Lyra saw the Marquis boutonniere, so she leaned in and smelled it. Thus the two of them started a discussion about roses. They gradually learned that their respective partners had passed away. But the warm atmosphere was interrupted by Regina. It turned out that Lyra's seat was next to hers. This made Regina feel disgusted. The female manager said obsequiously that she would help him change to a better seat, but Regina had always been sitting here. So she suppressed the dissatisfaction in her heart and sat down and covered her mouth and nose with a silk scarf to show her disgust. After the event officially started, the models made a stunning appearance in luxurious dresses. All kinds of dresses were so dazzling. Harris was deeply attracted by the beautiful scene in front of him. He saw an elegant green dress. His heart was immediately moved. He wrote down the dress number 73 in the notebook. However, when the show-stopping red dress came out, Harris was completely conquered. The color of that dress was dazzling. It was like a burning flame that ignited his heart. He immediately changed his mind and decided to buy this red dress. But when he went to the female supervisor with the number tag, he was cut in by Regina. He thought he looked down on this cleaner from the bottom of society. People like this were simply not worthy of wearing a Dior dress. To make matters worse, each dress was a unique custom-made style. There was only one piece in the world. The female supervisor advised Lyra to consider other styles of dresses. Coming all the way here, he couldn't go back empty-handed. So Lyra decided to take a step back and chose the number 73 green dress that he had first taken a fancy to. He asked the clerk to pack it up quickly because he still had to catch a plane. But how could he know high-end custom-made dresses all need to be tailored to the individual? Therefore, he had to stay in Paris for about 2 weeks. During this period, he also needed to try it on several times so that the dress could achieve the most perfect fit. However, Lyra had used all his money to buy the dress. The remaining funds were not enough for him to stay in Paris for 2 weeks. The female manager added insult to injury. She advised him not to buy it. Just at this moment, the female model Natalia, whom Lyra had helped, said that she could ask the designer to make an exception and shorten the period. The finance officer Atticus beside proposed that Lyra temporarily live in his home. The female manager was just about to stop it. The supervisor beside led Lyra into the fitting room. After the employees learned about his story, they all clapped their hands to show their welcome. The tailor said that Lyra's figure was just like that of a model, and he used British humor to make fun of his own figure, making everyone burst into laughter. After the first measurement was completed, Aurora had already been waiting at the door in her car. This made Lyra feel flattered. Although the two had just met not long ago, they felt very close to each other. Along the way, Aurora deliberately passed by the most characteristic scenic spots in Paris, so that Lyra could enjoy the beautiful scenery. The two of them went together to Atticus' residence. Facing the messy scene in the house, Lyra instinctively started to tidy it up. When Atticus returned with the groceries, he was stunned by the completely new-looking room. He said with a bit of apology, explaining the mess at home to Aurora. In a hurry, the shopping bag was knocked over on the ground again. The two bent down to pick things up at the same time. Unexpectedly, their foreheads collided heavily. They had to blush and apologize to each other. During dinner, Lyra keenly detected Atticus' fondness for Aurora, and skillfully led the conversation to the literary works that the other party loved. Coincidentally, Atticus was also obsessed with that writer. Suddenly, he opened up and talked animatedly. This made Aurora secretly develop a strange feeling in her heart. As night fell, Lyra stared at the brightly lit Paris skyline, still believing that he was truly standing in the land of his dreams. In the following days, he shuttled back and forth to the high-end customization workshop. Amid the humming of the sewing machine and the rustling sound of the silk, he unexpectedly learned that the house of Dior was on the verge of desperate situation. The picky noble ladies were always dissatisfied with the customized dresses. They found all kinds of reasons to delay payment. As a result, the company could hardly afford to pay its employees' salaries. Lyra felt sorry for this. On this day, he met the Marquis again by chance after learning that he would still stay in Paris for another week. The Marquis invited him to the flower market to enjoy the flowers. As they strolled and talked softly, the Marquis praised his courage and boldness. He dared to spend all his savings just to customize a dress. Lyra frankly said that his best friend couldn't understand his behavior either, thinking it was too absurd. However, the Marquis frankly said that he could empathize with it, saying that whenever he saw such a beautiful dress, it always aroused his recollection of the past good times. The Marquis expressed his apology and then invited Lyra to the dance party. In this grand feast exclusive to the upper class, champagne was a standard match for the ladies. Lyra indulged in the ultimate enjoyment of dancing gracefully until 10:30 am the next day. He suddenly woke up and realized that being late was inevitable. He rushed towards the Dior workshop. The tailor thought that he didn't respect him and refused to serve him. Lyra quickly grabbed the tailor and pleaded with the female manager to help, but the other party couldn't wait for him to leave. Only the female supervisor looked at him with pity in her eyes, but there was nothing she could do. Lyra regretted that drinking too much last night had caused the trouble and frankly said that he had great respect for everyone, but after all it was all his own fault. To make up for the regret, the female supervisor secretly exercised her hidden authority and took him into the cutting room. The top-grade fabrics shimmered under the light with the repeated decorative craftsmanship. Each piece of fashion was a unique and unparalleled item. Lyra met that red dress that made his heart tremble again. He finally understood the significance of the high-end customized dress. His sincere admiration caused a burst of laughter in the room, and then Lyra's skillful sewing memory won the affection of everyone present. The clerks jointly proposed to take his measurements again. Only the female manager had a gloomy face. She dragged him into the office and questioned what on earth he wanted to do in her decades of working experience. She had never seen a female worker come to customize such an elaborate dress. Those noble ladies customized dresses to shine in the social arena, and his such persistence. Could it be that he was going to wear the dress to sweep the streets? Lyra stammered and said that this was his dream. Just at this moment, Aurora brought the roses that the Marquis had given to Lyra. In the evening, Atticus and Lyra walked side by side talking about the difficulties of the Dior workshop. Atticus, who works in finance, is not optimistic, but Lyra is full of confidence and she encourages the other party to change the current situation of Dior. Atticus says that he indeed has some ideas, it's just that his words don't carry much weight. Lyra persuades him not to give up easily. He must take action. Atticus says self-deprecatingly, maybe only you would believe in me. During the conversation, the two accidentally break into a movie premiere. They suddenly found Aurora is being intimate with the male lead. Lyra steps forward to say hello. Atticus feels a bit uncomfortable. Aurora is very happy when she spots the two of them. After a brief exchange, he has to go back and kiss the male star to boost the promotion of the movie. Lyra whispers an explanation that is just a job requirement. Atticus pleads with Lyra not to play matchmaker randomly. This will only make him look bad. He admits that he has developed feelings for Aurora, but he knows full well that the other person is as distant as a star. Lyra says that how can you know without giving it a try? Atticus says the city of Paris is very suitable for your romantic dreams, but you shouldn't impose this dream on others. Maybe the person who truly longs to be loved is yourself. These words deeply touch Lyra. He can't help but think of his late husband Killian. It was the pension he left behind that gave her the opportunity to set foot on the land of Paris. Could it be that in the dark he is guiding her to seek new love? The next day, Lyra arrives at the Marquis mansion on time for the appointment. The Marquis takes out the photos that he has treasured for a long time. He admits that when he was a child at the boarding school, he was often bullied by children of his own age. Fortunately, there was a cleaner named Hattie who always cared for him a great deal. The first time the Marquis saw Lyra, he felt an immediate sense of closeness because she resembled that Hattie very much. Lyra suddenly realizes it turns out that it has always been her wishful thinking. The twinkle in the Marquis' eyes is not admiration, but a remembrance of the warmth of the past. So she makes a hasty farewell and leaves. She understands that even if she has a haute couture dress, she is still like a garment hanging on a wooden rack. The fairy tale of Cinderella is after all just a fairy tale. The glass slipper never belongs to the girl who scrubs the floor. The next day, Lyra steps into the house of Dior again. She encountered dozens of employees who are leaving one after another with their luggage judging from the chaotic scene. This century-old store apparently it is facing a financial crisis. She immediately stops everyone and organizes them to seek an explanation together. The female manager signals that she has no right to interfere in the company's affairs. Unexpectedly, Lyra intends to directly negotiate with the boss, that is Mr. Dior. Along the way, more employees who have heard the news join them when Lyra leads the excited employees and forcefully breaks into the group's office area. Atticus tries to stop them. Lyra emphasizes that this is an opportunity for him to prove himself. Then she pushes him into the president's office. She hopes that Mr. Dior can give Atticus 10 minutes. Maybe this young man can save Dior, which is on the verge of desperate situation. Seeing this, Atticus has to bite the bullet and put forward a revolutionary plan. He suggests breaking the traditional luxury positioning and launching a line of affordable luxury products to be closer to the mass consumer market. Upon hearing this, Mr. Dior decides to give him some time to convince himself. So he asks everyone to leave. Before long, Atticus comes out of the office and announces that Mr. Dior has adopted his idea. The Dior brand officially announces the launch of a new journey aimed at contemporary women. Harris is honored to be the first person to experience it. In the future, the company will not only not lay off employees, it may even need more employees. The female manager realizes that it's time for her to leave, and Aurora resigns together with her in the evening. Lyra and Atticus go to the female manager's house together, hoping that she can return to the company. Because men can never accurately grasp the real needs of female consumers without her professional control, everything will be in a mess. Since the other party has offered an olive branch, the female manager is naturally willing to come back. Just when they mention where Aurora has gone, the female manager says that she has already resigned and plans to leave Paris to pursue her own dreams. After learning the news that Aurora is about to leave, the two of them rush to the train station without delay. Finally, they find her in the waiting room. Atticus quotes various philosophical principles from books, trying to persuade this girl, who is about to go on a long journey, to stay. Lyra is almost driven crazy by this straight man hinting that he should take action as soon as possible. The next day, Lyra steps into the house of Dior for the last time to celebrate the completion of the painstakingly customized dress. It looks dazzling. This trip to Paris comes to a successful end. Lyra returns to her home with a suitcase. In the evening, one of her employers arrives uninvited and laments that she is in trouble. It turns out that she is going to attend a grand dinner party, which is very important to her, but because Lyra has been away in Paris during this period, no one has taken care of her clothes. The only decent dress she has is in a dilapidated state. Finally, the kind-hearted Harris reluctantly takes out her haute couture dress and lends it to the other person. Coincidentally, the dress fits unexpectedly well. The employer expresses her gratitude profusely and then hurries to the dinner party. The next morning, Lyra goes to the employer's house to work. When she opens the curtains and is about to clean, she unexpectedly finds her own dress casually thrown on the sofa. It is covered with burn marks. It turned out that the employer didn't cherish Lyra's dress at all. He just regarded it as a tool for his own fame. To create a topic, he deliberately got close to the fireplace. He let the dress catch fire and then be put out, and thus he became the focus of the whole ball. Lyra forcefully crumpled up the compensation money given to him by the employer. When leaving, he threw the key back through the crack of the door. Dior's haute couture dress for Lyra is not just a piece of clothing, it is also a dream that carries countless of his longings. But now he didn't even have a chance to put it on and show it once. He could only watch helplessly as the dress was maliciously damaged by the other party. Lyra, in a state of despair, came to the banks of the Thames. He threw the memories related to that dress and his former dreams into the river together. He didn't go out of the house for several days. His best friend and his friend Jasper were worried that he might do something foolish, so he breaks in through the door. Everyone tries to persuade him to pull himself together. From then on, Lyra no longer pursues the so-called dreams. When he sees the haute couture dress of the employer Lavinia, he has no interest in it at all. Lavinia asks if he has read the news. The front page of the newspaper is exactly about that woman who used the Dior dress to create a focal point. Lyra's heart is hurt again. In a fit of anger, he takes the initiative to resign and demands that all the outstanding debts be settled at once. One night, Lyra is planting flowers. Suddenly there is a knock on the door. The delivery guy brings him a gift and a large bouquet of roses. He tears open the wrapping paper. He found that it was sent by Dior. There was also a letter inside. Dear Lyra, we saw the news in the newspaper. This news made our dresses sell very well. But we sincerely feel sorry for you. You are so kind after you left Paris. Regina's husband was arrested on suspicion of embezzling a huge amount of public funds. He has now been imprisoned. The red dress he ordered at that time has not been paid for now. We have decided to let the tailor modify the size again and send it to you. The roses were specially prepared for you by the Marquis. We hope you will always be happy. This time don't let the new dress get close to the fire again. This time make sure the new dress doesn't get close to the fire again. At this point we send all our love and the warmest gratitude. At the Veterans Ball carefully prepared by the government, the soft and brilliant lights sprinkle on the dance floor. Lyra, wearing the dress he carefully prepared, slowly walks into the venue. All of his friends are stunned. In an instant the eyes of the whole venue are focused on him. As expected, he becomes the center of attention. Jasper smiles and says that you are completely different from before. You exude a unique charm all over. Lyra says that it's all thanks to the dress. Jasper doesn't think so. The inner beauty of a person will invisibly enhance his temperament, and the dress just makes him more dazzling. True beauty will not be restricted by the growth of age or the high or low status. The only thing that can hold back the blooming of beauty is the heart that has lost its vitality and no longer yearns for beauty on the economic journey of pursuing dreams. Lyra always adheres to the authenticity of human nature. When he found the diamond ring, he didn't hesitate at all and returned it to its owner. Facing the female manager, who once mocked him, he let go of past grudges. He earnestly requested the other party to stay on as the Marquis. When he realized that his feelings were just admiration, not true love, he didn't hesitate or feel nostalgic at all. He resolutely left. When the employer maliciously damaged his haute couture dress, his kindness enabled him to receive a more precious gift in the midst of the brokenness. At the Veterans Ball, that shining red dress made us understand that true elegance never depends on external things. It comes from the clarity of the heart. No matter where we are, every ordinary person has the right to hold a dream. No matter how much ridicule we encounter, every soul deserves to be treated gently. When we are like Lyra, guarding our original aspiration with kindness, measuring the distance with courage, we will eventually, at a moment when the morning light is faint, hear the sound of our dreams blooming.